We went on date night and saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Irma. Was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem a good movie?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I had so much fun. I wouldn't say I got all the references because I didn't grow up on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like you did. But what'd you think?
So initial thoughts. Watching the movie, leaving the movie. Although in the middle it did lag a little, but that's kind of every movie. Like in the middle, you kind of start to be like, okay, and then it ramps back up. I definitely liked it. I had fun.
Yeah.
The more I've thought about it, the more I've been a little not as thrilled with it.
What? I disagree.
You disagree. So it was
also, I'll caveat, because we watched this past weekend, we finally caught up on Super Mario Brothers. And I feel after watching Super Mario Brothers, it made me like this movie even way more.
True. Well, Super Mario Brothers was just a bad movie.
Right. But I just feel like it's similar with the nostalgia, the IP, the references, like the backlog of like all these things you could or should know. And I just think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles did it way better. Yeah.
So it's definitely a good movie. I had a really good time. No, so far from bad. Like, no, always a good movie. It's also difficult. So so way better than Super Mario Brothers, but nowhere near as good as Across the Spider-Verse.
No,
and
but
it's hard,
it's
and
different.
like it's not that different though, and it's hard not to compare them. Unfortunately, but also Across the Spider-Verse might be the best superhero movie ever.
Yeah.
So it's hard. I don't want to
compare it. This isn't a superhero movie.
Yeah, but they are. It is.
Okay.
So it was a lot of fun. It looked really cool.
Yeah, I think the animation was honestly amazing. I really like how it made it look like sketchy, like how like a kid or a teenager would draw. And like I like that like the turtles themselves were like pretty detailed, but then like the humans in the story all like looked wonky and weird. And I liked that.
Yeah, we watched a thing where like they tried to emphasize the teenage in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like they've never done before. And I appreciated that. And then even in the art style, like the artists were like, let's draw like we are teenagers. So not as pristine and perfect as they definitely
and they said that
could.
was like hard for them, which I thought was kind of funny.
So I think you're absolutely right. I think the turtles looked really good.
Yeah.
Because they're like silly cartoons.
Well, I also think like let's say if you're the turtle and you're drawing this, you know what they look like.
Sure.
And like you don't really know what humans look like.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
It's also
like,
really hard to draw humans for like a novice artist.
Yeah.
So like they definitely did like wonkier with the humans, which was cool. My nitpicks start to be when I really trying to decipher like what they were doing with this story and how it was uniquely Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. As a TMNT fan, I loved the original movie.
Yeah.
The original live action from the 90s. I don't know. It just has such a warm place in my heart. I was a child, obviously. And I think they kind of lost a little bit of what the Turtles are about and made it way too much just like a goofier Spider-Man story. Like, I get that they wanted to be more teenage, so they had to be like awkward and, you know, oops, we beat these guys up, like literally the same scene from Homecoming. Like when Peter Parker accidentally beats the guys up and they accidentally beat the guys up in the garage. I feel like they got too close to Spider-Man, just like in kind of the overall arc of the four characters basically just being a version of Spider-Man. And also the four of them are supposed to be pretty different.
Yeah.
Like they all have their different attitudes. And it was always like, who do you like the best? Like in the cartoon version that was on like the TV show, Michelangelo was hilarious. But then in that live action movie, Michelangelo and actually Donatello is funnier and they work funnier together. And then Raphael is like really angry. like really has a
He's
problem.
the red one, right?
He's the red one. So like the only
They
thing
had that little.
I know, but they only told you that. They're like, Raph, you're angry. But at no point in any of their interactions was he like any different than the rest of them. And then Leo, like all of them, all of their dialogue could have come from any of the four.
A bit.
Except that one scene with Leo when he organizes everybody.
Yeah.
Where he had to be the leader. But like they were too homogenous.
Okay. I definitely see where you're coming from. I think that I could tell them apart.
Well, because they're different colors.
Oh my gosh. I do think they had different personality traits, but they're still young. They're still growing into themselves. They're learning. I think that was kind of the point of this movie. This is like the year one, you know?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And then my other gripe is just with the ninja of it all.
Yeah, so I agree with you with this.
They ramped up the teenage and they absolutely annihilated the ninja. No ninja. This was teenage mutant turtles. And in theory, that's fine. But then again, it gets like too close to Spider-Man. And Splinter is a ninja master. And they really made him like kind of a goofball.
They did.
Like a real goofball. At one point, I think he kicks a little butt.
Well, I think so. In the original, he's not their dad. He is their teacher.
Yeah. And well, so it's like a father figure. But he's like a sensei.
Sure, but I think like he's not really meant to be their dad. And this one, they like made it like this is their dad.
Yeah. And like the ninja, even there needs to be a discipline with them. And that's kind of the point. Like, yeah, they're teenage and they're rebels and they like pizza and they mess around and they skateboard. But at the center of it, they have that like ninja discipline where when they need to turn it on, they know how to turn it on. And they're not accidentally beating people up.
Yeah.
Like, yes, they can be awkward and self-conscious teenagers. But in times of trouble, a ninja is going to always perform properly.
Yeah.
And I feel like they lost that completely.
I know.
Not even one meditation scene.
Yeah.
Like they needed to center themselves at one point. That's kind of the point.
Yeah. I think changing the Splinter backstory was the big issue.
Yeah.
I think because originally he is supposed to be what is there?
He's the pet rat of who is he. It's either it alters, but he's the pet rat of a ninja master who Shredder kills.
Shredder, right?
Or he's the pet of
Shredder,
the person that is Shredder. So that, but like, nonetheless, either way of that version, he's like very privy to the ninja way of life.
Yeah,
and in this one, he just learns it from Bruce Lee videos or something.
Yeah, which I thought was very strange.
Yeah, in the moment, I thought it was funny because like it is silly if you go back and watch the first one when they show a rat in a cage and he's like doing like the tiny animatronic rat of like learning how to kick and punch. But like he does have to have that like the scene in the original movie after Splinter dies.
I mean, I think like,
and he comes in the fire and he's like giving them this wisdom where his spirit, like almost like a force ghost, like, you know, Jedis almost. So like they're super serious.
Yeah.
But they can still have fun. And in this point, there was no serious. It was all goofball fun.
Yeah.
And I think it was a little bit too much goofball fun. And last thing, the villains subsided way too easily. Like Superfly stuck to his guns, but then like the rest of them, it took like one word and they're like, yeah, we're on your side now. And this guy's crazy.
Yeah.
Which is like, all right. But it all felt too easy. And I think it was a little bit too much for kids, which is fine. But I wanted it to be more for me.
Yeah.
And it was a kid's, like the kids' humor. It was kids' jokes. They made the milking joke way too many times. Like it was funny and then it wasn't funny. And it's like when a 10-year-old just says the same joke and they still find it funny because they're 10. But like I'm a 36-year-old.
Yeah.
And it's not funny anymore.
Well, I think that's what a lot of the things with this nostalgia IP, like, who are you going to make it for? Like,
so
even
like
with Barbie
was for us.
Yeah.
And not for kids.
I mean, it could be for kids.
Kind of.
Really.
But like the jokes were hilariously funny to me.
Yeah. No, I know.
Like, a person that understands life.
It's a
And
hard thing to do.
It is hard to balance.
I mean,
Yes.
Pixar does it pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, not lately, but I think they typically do. Things I really liked. I thought the voice acting was pretty great.
Yes, I did want to say that. So I've been nitpicking. I really liked it. I thought, so take out the fact that they all felt a little homogenous. I thought when the four brothers were together, it was like a lot of fun to watch them.
Yeah.
Because the banter just felt really real.
And I think it was. Yeah. And then Jackie Chan, right, played Splinter, and I think he did a great job. Ice Cube played Superfly.
Yes.
And then, of course, there's a rogues gallery who played like
Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
The Paul
Rudd.
Rudd character is very funny.
What's his face?
Seth Rogen.
Yeah, Seth Rogen, who also was in Super Mario Brothers. And I have to say, just not to constantly compare them, because I don't really think we're going to spend any time on Super Mario Brothers, is that like the voice acting really took me out of Super Mario Brothers. But
Except for Charlie Day.
Sure.
I like
that. But he was also not in it.
Yeah. I just like Charlie Day.
And then here, like, I thought it actually like added to it. Even though Seth Rogen, like, whenever, he always kind of takes me out of it, but whatever.
Too distinct.
He was a small part of this movie, so it didn't
really
bother me. And then another thing I really liked was the music. I thought it was so good. You didn't love it, but like the No Diggity fight scene was so good. I was dancing in my seat.
Yeah.
I wanted to start like singing the words, but I didn't want to be annoying to people.
Yeah, I liked the music. Like that's the part where I feel like they were not congruous with who they were trying to, like, the movie was for, let's say, a 13-year-old. But then the music was for me.
Yeah.
And like, I just felt like that didn't line up properly. And we're about to talk about Talk to Me.
Yeah.
Which was like, we're watching Australian teenagers and they're listening to modern Australian hip hop. And like, it felt like this is what they're listening to. We're in their world. It's like, pick a lane. I don't know. But I did like it. I did like it. It was like nice to hear those songs come on and be like, oh yeah, what a great jam.
Yeah. Oh no, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, really good. Just, I had like some nitpicks for being a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie specifically. I feel like they made a good movie, but kind of lost what makes them special.
Yeah.
And then I really wonder what they're going to do with Shredder. Because, spoiler alert, if you're still watching it and didn't realize that we spoiled all of it, kind of. The stinger is that Shredder is coming.
Yeah.
But like how? Because they already totally separated Splinter from Shredder. So is he just a random bad guy?
We'll see.
Or maybe,
well, Maya Rudolph's villain is still around.
Yeah. So she's like bringing Shredder in.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
But that's it. Good flick. I had some nitpicks. Click here because we talk about Talk to Me. And if you haven't seen Talk to Me, go see Talk to Me. Oh my God. Great horror flick. Like, comment, subscribe, please. Young channel. You know what it is. It's hard. It's hard out here for us. Subscribe. Thank you very much.
From our living room to yours, what do you want to watch?